God, this team sucks, bro.
It was a very disappointing start to week 1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Our beloved Pittsburgh Steelers against the San Francisco 49ers as they are losing right now 30-7.
Yeah, we're literally doing the post game right after the 2-minute warning because what's the point in waiting to the end of the game, bro? If they score any additional points, it doesn't matter. It doesn't count. Unless you have anyone in fantasy or on a parlay, it doesn't matter. It's not even style points. It's garbage. This team absolutely played atrocious today, bro. This is not what we expected from our Steelers. This is not what the media has hyped us as.
No.
Deep in the back of your mind, in the back of your darkest fears, you might have worried about this. You might have thought about this. I know I did. Are we going to get a repeat of the Steelers versus Patriots game, week 1 opener again, in 2019? That was my darkest fear today, and my darkest fear came true. And I hate that that happened. This is super similar to 4 years ago. So
Big time.
terrible. So terrible. Months of preparation for this, and there was no preparation.
This ain't like the past 2 years where we upset the Bills in their stadium, like the Bengals in their stadium last year.
And this was our first home opener in 9 years, since 2014. And this is how you show out. This is how you perform with an incredible offseason, a flawless preseason, which clearly doesn't mean much anymore.
No.
It seemed like all that was hype.
So far, 1 weekend, I understand it's week 1. I get it. I know. But that doesn't mean I can't be disappointed in the fact that this team shit the bed in their own stadium.
It's also the fact that there are no excuses with this team no more. There are no excuses with this team.
Because how many times
you can barely go with the growing pains.
How many times do I have to hear, oh, it's week 1. Oh, it's growing pains. On paper, this team has upgraded at every fucking position, including their depth.
Every position.
From that point forward, we should already be better. We should not have growing pains.
Omar Khan had a tremendous offseason. Flawless class, great offseason, nice additions, and some of them actually showed out today. Shout out to Landon Roberts. He and TJ Watt are the only players that ever showed up in this game. That is it.
Yeah.
No one on offense, no one else on defense. It was Landon Roberts and TJ Watt only for today.
And TJ Watt happened, if you want to get a win out of this, he actually tied James Harrison's record for most sacks in Steelers history with 80.5.
He had 3 sacks. 2 of them were forced fumbles. 1 of them was a fumble recovery, which the offense did not respond with any points.
No.
In fact, the only points that they have scored as of this recording right now, as we're watching the remainder of this game, was at the end of the first half, which thankfully to some penalties from Lenore on the 49ers, we were able to get the only score of this game for us. Otherwise, before that, how many yards did the Steelers offense have?
One.
One. Are you kidding me?
That's it.
With a second-year quarterback, with a young offense that has had a flawless preseason, an entire offseason to grow upon, right? So much money invested in the offensive line.
I don't mean to cut you off, but on 4th and 5, Pickett just got sacked by Javon Hargrave,
a former Steeler.
That's game, guys. That is game.
That is the icing
That is
on top
game.
of this cake. That is the. I don't know what to say anymore, man. This was a horrific
team
game.
Completely shit the bed.
Unorganized, unprepared, and once again, the Steelers show you, as a team overall, as an offense, as a coaching staff, they are not prepared to go up against elite talent, against top-tier teams, against Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah.
They have shown that the past couple years, not only in the playoffs, but even in the regular season. Against elite teams, they do not show up. In fact, they do exactly this. And again, in week 1 is another example of that. It's the same thing year in and year out with this team, bro. And we have improved from a roster aspect, from a depth aspect, from experience.
But it seems like no matter how much we improve from a roster aspect on paper,
it's the same thing.
When they get on the field, it's the same thing from years prior. And it's something that me and Dan, I'm sure many fans of you right now are watching, are sick and tired. Even if it is week 1.
I feel like I just watched a game from 3 years ago when Ben was at quarterback. That's the vibe I get. We just watched literally a rinse and repeat of one of those games where we have to throw the ball all the time because we're down by 3-4 scores. And that's exactly what we did. That is literally what we did. It's like we watch any game from the past couple years where we couldn't get a ground game going because we were down by so much. And we didn't start off high. We didn't set the tone. We didn't use the ground game to tire out the defense, to try to get points on the board, or try to keep the ball for a long possession, or any of that. It was literally as if Ben was our quarterback once again. It was deja vu from years past. Yeah. That's the problem. We improved as a team. We had a great offseason. But none of that was evident today. And yes, it's week 1, and you could make the excuse it's growing pains. You could, because we have invested a lot into the offensive line. The guys are still young, but the way I see it, there are no excuses with this team because of those reasons. Because of those reasons.
Why do we have to constantly every year have to deal with growing pains when we have upgraded?
We invested so much into the offensive line as well as into our ground game as we invested a first-round pick on Najee,
and a
first-round pick on
everybody.
Kenny, and we did nothing. Kenny had his worst game of his career, worse than the game he had last year versus the Bills, versus the Dolphins, versus the Eagles. He looked like a rookie more today than he did all last year.
Yeah.
He was terrible. I don't care if he's a second-year guy. I still feel like this guy could be our future, but today, he did not show that. And because I think of him like that, that's not going to keep him immune from criticism. Kenny Pickett played like dog shit. Not even 200 passing yards, 2 interceptions.
On 46 passing attempts, 31 completions, barely 200 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions.
It's just like if we had Ben in his last year.
And he was sacked.
It's the same shit.
And he was sacked 5 times.
The only difference is we have a younger quarterback in his second year who showed no progression today. The offense did nothing. In fact, I think we punted it more than we ran the ball.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to check right now because in total, the Steelers' rushing attack on offense only ran it 10 times. 10 times. And a big part of that is because they didn't establish a running game early. They didn't even try. They didn't try to establish a running game early.
No, they didn't. So you invest so much into the offensive line the past 2 years, right? Getting new guards, getting a franchise left tackle who didn't start yet, but you invested so much into the line as well as into the ground game in general, and you shied away from it. You put the ball into Pickett's hands, and Pickett did not show up at all today. This offense was so unorganized. It was vanilla. The play calling, the play was trash. Sideline shots, flat routes, drags, hitches, curls, no deep shots, no middle of the field, nothing of what we saw in the preseason. Nothing.
None.
And why? Why? Because the Niners are an elite defense? That should not shy away from being aggressive.
No, not at all.
Or is it because this team just sucks? Because this offensive coordinator sucks? We keep Canada for another year, and he's doing the same vanilla garbage. With a better offense, with a better offensive line, with more experience under your belt. Pickens, Pickett, Najee, Warren, Deontay, they all got experience.
Robinson added. As a matter of fact, Robinson was our leading receiver on 5 catches with 64 yards.
Most of those yards were in garbage time. Deontay went down with an injury. Muth got our only touchdown.
On 1 catch. He only caught one pass. 3 yards, 1 touchdown. That was it.
And the defense didn't show up one bit. They couldn't stop McCaffrey to save their lives. 150 on the ground, plus a touchdown, a long touchdown. Brock Purdy was tearing us up all game, barely any pressure. And the only pressure he ever got was from T.J. Watt. Nothing from Hayward, who went out with a groin injury. Nothing interiorly. Nothing from Highsmith.
But
it was just T.J. Watt all game.
I'm looking at the Niners' offense statistically. Purdy threw it 29 times. But the freaking Niners threw it, or not threw it, they ran it 34 times. You see the balance that they got on offense?
Tremendous balance.
It's just near perfect balance on off. It's what you want.
And we said this during the playoffs, because the playoffs completely exposed our coaching staff, and this game just furthers that. Why do the 49ers, with the last pick of last year's draft, is more balanced, more creative, going farther, more competitive than we are with the only first-round quarterback last year? The Dolphins even proved that with Skylar Thompson last year, a fellow 7th-round quarterback.
Yeah.
This exposes our coaching staff tremendously. Tomlin, again, unprepared, outcoached, cannot step up against big teams and big games. Canada, vanilla as hell. Vanilla like ice cream at this point.
Yeah, even George Pickens didn't do much in this game. He had 5 catches, but for only 36 yards.
I'm going to start calling that Canada extract.
How do you not figure out the proper way to use and utilize George Pickens?
And Ayuk had 2 touchdowns.
Oh, Ayuk torched our secondary. 8 catches, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. He torched us.
This game was terrible. This team showed you they have a lot to work on, a lot of work to do.
The only guy that showed up and stuck out for the Steelers was TJ Watt.
That's it.
And he speaks for himself.
An honorable mention is Landon Roberts. That's it. That's it. Everyone else, trash. Everyone else, trash. A complete, utter, overall defensive, or just overall, from the team overall, just a meltdown.
Yeah.
An absolute meltdown. Very deja vu of week 1 versus the Patriots 4 years ago. Same thing. Different roster, same coaching staff. And guess what? Same result.
It's just very
That's the
disappointing.
problem, man.
Year after year, no matter how much we upgrade, no matter how much talent that we add, it's the same thing year in and year out. And I'm tired of it.
Because of games like this coaching staff gives me zero reason to believe we can go very far into the playoffs. The Steelers, at the end of the day, no matter how they start the year, will probably still remain in playoff contention. Whether they make it or not, I don't know. We have a long season ahead. We have 16 games left.
Yeah.
So the Steelers have a long way to go. I don't want to say this is going to set the tone, but it's not a good start.
No, I always say, despite what we said, I always say week 1 doesn't always set the tone for any team. But this was fucking disappointing.
Absolutely
This was
disappointing.
pathetic. For a home opener in front of a Steeler Nation crowd that was pumped and excited, waited all off season for this matchup, and you knew exactly what you were going up against, and you perform like this, everybody, every fan, everybody that is a Steelers fan should be fucking pissed.
Yeah. And if we're overreacting, we might be. I don't know. But the way I see it, with this coaching staff remaining the same for how many years now and what they have won for us, why should I expect anything different? Why should I expect anything different?
And it continues to show
and
that
this game shows that. If we open at home against the Niners with a fresh, healthy team, and this is how we come out, why should we have any faith that we're going to go against any other elite teams? Because we can't. The only thing we can do is grow from this. Only thing we can do is the young guys can grow from this. That is it. That's the benefit of the doubt. Kenny can look at this, watch the film, and notice he messed up. He missed a lot of his targets. He forced some passes. The offensive line can look at this and be like, man, we sucked.
Yeah.
That's the only benefit of the doubt. We have a long season ahead. Yes, it's week 1. But in that regard, I still feel like there is no excuse, because how much experience have we added? How much experience has this team gained?
Yeah.
It's not like years past where we had rookies having to start. It's not like that.
And listen, we were very aware that it's going to take time for this team to grow and gel.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean you got to come out and completely shit the bed.
That doesn't mean you have to get blown out in your own stadium in week 1 by 23 points.
You weren't even competitive.
All we wanted,
You weren't even competitive.
was some competition, some competitiveness, a gritty battle. No. You allowed the 49ers to have 30 points in your own home stadium.
Show some difference. Show some balance on offense. Show some intensity on defense. None of that.
I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't come into this game expecting a W from the Steelers. Some may have. I wasn't, because I know the Niners are the better team. I know they're the more well-oiled machine. They're the better coaching staff. This just continues to prove that. But I wanted some competition. I wanted some something from the Steelers team. Some sort of life.
Something, anything that was showcased, hey, you know, there is change. There is hope. There is promise. You know, we are proving ourselves slowly but surely, because that's what they need to do. They need to prove themselves.
Terrible.
But after this,
It was rinse and repeat.
after this,
Different roster, different quarterback, second-year quarterback who played like shit. It's rinse and repeat as if it was 3-4 years ago.
and that type of shit makes me sick to my stomach. And I'm tired of it.
So something has to change with this coaching staff and their preparation and their game planning. And this team, the players have to step up. They have to show up when it matters, man. Because this was terrible. This was absolutely terrible. The media gave the Steelers a lot of hype coming into this season after a flawless preseason, but it looks like it was just preseason hype. It looks like we can't go up against top competition. Years past have proved that. This just furthers that.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. It's actually saddening. It really is, because we know the potential this team has if everything goes right on paper. But as of right now, it's just on paper.
That's the thing.
The
like,
execution is not there.
that's the thing. We know the capabilities this team has that the players have, but it's not translating on the field, and it pisses us off.
No, it's absolutely embarrassing.
And the reaction that we have been having throughout the whole live reaction stream and in this post game, it's because we're passionate about this team, because we care about this team. We want this team to succeed.
Yes.
It's tough love. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
We're not fake fans. We're not haters. We're passionate fucking Steelers fans that wants to see this team succeed and is tired of the same shit year in and year out.
Exactly. All we wanted today was some sort of chance, some sort of competition.
And if we got a win, that's even a bigger win. That's a big plus.
I just can't
But
believe...
we got zero of that.
I just can't believe this team played this bad. My deepest fear came true. And it was deja vu from 4 years ago. So, huge shout out to TJ Watt, because he's the only one that stepped up. And Atlanta Roberts. I'll throw him out there. Otherwise, everyone else, there was no positive.
Yeah.
There was nothing good about this. We got the Browns next week. Did they win their matchup? I thought, last I seen, they were up 24-3 versus the Bengals. And we got them
Yeah. Cleveland won. Cleveland won a game. They beat the Bengals.
They didn't even give the Bengals a touchdown. We could barely even score one.
Barely. If it wasn't for the penalties, we probably not would have. We probably not would have.
That's in primetime next week on Monday night in our own stadium. Can the Steelers team bounce back? We can only hope and pray. If you still want to believe, feel free. It's week 1. We have a long season ahead. All we can hope and give the benefit of the doubt is that this team is going to learn from this and grow. That is it. Otherwise, if we keep seeing stuff like this against top competition, there's no reason to believe that this team can go far. Yeah. There's no reason to believe that everything that we invested in the offseason is going to pay off. There's no reason to believe that Tomlin can win us a Super Bowl with his own roster. There's no reason to believe that Kenny could be the future. If we keep seeing shit like this, there's no reason to believe any of that. Otherwise, I want to have confidence. I want to have faith. I want to believe that this team can better themselves. They don't always start off hot. They're typically a second half team, a second half of the season team. So it just might be that again. But because it's that again, it's still upsetting because it's the same thing every year.
It's always frustrating. But hey, I guess that's the life of a Steelers fan.
But let us know your guys' thoughts down below. How do you guys feel about this game? I think we already know you guys' reactions and opinions.
Yeah, really.
The 49ers demolish us in the week 1 opener. The Steelers are 0-1 as we try to prepare for primetime next week against the Cleveland Browns in an AFC North matchup. God almighty. I don't know what to expect next week, but I just want a dub.
Yeah, but in closing, I want to give a shout out to Jesse of Last Second Sports. We did a collaboration for the 49ers and Steelers matchup. I'm sure you're ecstatic about the win, as you should be. I want to say it was a good matchup, but not on our end. You know, your team was as advertised, as ours was not.
What many of us anticipated did not go down.
It didn't go down. But congratulations and good luck the rest of the way, man.
Absolutely. Good luck to the Niners. They literally showed you why they're a Super Bowl favorite, why they're legit. They are that close to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
If there's one year for them to do it, it's going to be this year. And they start off high, and we did not. So let's know you guys' thoughts. Here we go, Steelers at the end of the day, and let's just hope we can build from this. So.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace.